You know Benjamin Ofori, the Ghanaian guy who was the head of cancer for Scotland in the Canada at the 85 on the red floor. You know when they say to you that's pink and that I was grey and black and also white? Why would New York have cancer and parts of the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods have cancer and Cairo and Poland have cancer? Where's the grey of Jamila that you smashed the original girl's head in on the coastlines and brought her back as Disneyland? Why the psychos? What is the psych ward of Fresno with the psychos that follow me? Do you know what it means to have psycho stalkers after your buildings in Yale and Harvard, Princeton are empty because a girl had her head smashed on your coastlines and she was the leader of that shit? Not cancer, you cheap ass New York. You see these teeth? You see these nails? I'm not Jamila. I'm a different girl. No, because the original is lying on your coastlines. You're terrorists. I have the Hague and the Bureau de Veritas. The social security number Delft from Holland, wormhole to worm. That's to Hotel California, beast and stuff. You don't have two brain cells to rub together to find out what the fuck happened on the coastline. You don't even know why I'm back in this format or formats. You're welcome. Those buildings are staying empty in Massachusetts, in DC, in England. You know, July 20, 21st century, the social security number 221. From Holland, Delft, the city, you know, the lowlands. So these on the news, the nails. Why do you think the Europeans brought me back like this? To show to you what the fuck you've lost on the coastlines. My blood is Russian. Russian and Saudi. Arab. I have some Turk in me because of grandma. Excuse me. I eat mushrooms. Mushrooms. So, this is what we're saying around the world. At La Sapienza, the poppy fields, they call them poppy. Why I didn't want to call them poppy fields? Because it's not World War II, we're at World War III and IV. And the parents are from pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. Patients and Norris in the Arctic. So they're dark. They went to pioneer camps at the age of 5, they were pioneer champions. The directorates, D1s of Austro TCY USA, while the child is a dead baby. She's a replacement baby. I'm a replacement baby after you smashed the original girl's head on the coastlines. They said like an analogy in high school, McVariant to Bochron element is not the same. And the McVariant element is the Shakespeare's bomb, global bomb that was shared between the Russians and London and others to the US in 1998. But we know that. We do? We do. And yet you send psychos after me. That shit's empty on your coastlines because I'm dead, you fucking bitch. Elon Musk moved to fucking Texas. Why do you think he moved to Texas from California? So you can have your titties and your fucking assies doing your PhDs and reopen my fucking buildings. In other words, I'm basically the mouthpiece of the dead girl that you smashed on the coastline. Oh. And I'm not running for Miss America either. I just got up at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. And I don't really care for your PhDs. Because you're going to reopen Princeton, Harvard, yeah, July the 20th, July. Keep it empty, make it empty, ship to yacht. All these on the news will watch the clubhouse. Call me fucking terrorist again, where to see where the fuck this goes. You, dears, came along and said to me that I was Bin Laden. Was it twins or something? Let me put it this way. I'd rather be called Bin Laden by the Americans before and after and have the beautiful buildings empty and not some cheap shit in New York and Poland with cancer. Some Dar es Salaam neighborhood with cancer. Empty. Because I was not pink. That's the pink part of me. I was grey and black from Russia, Mir, and Saudi Arabian Mir in the United Nations. That is why I have all the blessings on the planet, so your fucking assholes can feel good about their ladies. and you will speak to me a lady of the house for the parents of president on retirement. There's a Scotland film to stay out of your shit whores ass country. You will not reopen my buildings. And that is why my middle name is, as Dirk M. Van Dam, The Hague said, Void. You would sit there. Yes. Oh, yes, sir. So you send me all your psychos. Okay. Now I know what you are, US. So the Roman tribunal, after the Hague of Dirk Dam, the Void, the Bureau de Veritas, comes up to me and says, is all abuse, psychological abuse of Fresno? Ah, you were a little abused in college when you were younger, I guess in preparation for Fresno's retirement. And unfortunately, you don't have psychosis and psycho. You have something else. It could even mimic it. But the Americans, America, keep emptying Harvard. The space buildings, unpicked buildings of July 20th, 21st century big ship. America, she pulls out cancers from Poland and New York, that's cheaping. What did you murder on the coastlines was smashed and had. Bring back Disneyland to remember that and hate her even more. You see, this is what I'm saying to you. You fucking retards. Literally. And you're such assholes that I needed every fucking blessing on the planet coming from abroad for this one alone. Because I couldn't even speak about the death on the coastlines. Because you're fucking psychos. And you did it on purpose. The Americans sent psychos to me on purpose. You're playing with Disneyland now. They find that retarded after the Hague of Dirk M. Van Dam. That's why there's the Scotland film. To keep my kind and all the others out of your shithole country. You can take Elon Musk all the way to Texas if you want from California. I don't give a shit. This is what happens with scientists. Space science, when you smash their head on the ghost lines. This happens. Your J-Lo concept. Why? You started that? You know why? So you can't even reopen the cheap shit in Poland and New York of cancer. The head of sciences at Walsh University was the brother of the mother. He's 96, 98. He's sitting there saying to me, oh, so you don't know one can go with the Dutch. And you said, I have a whole bunch there at the storage place on your electro rays. After your head was smashed in on the ghost line, that's all cheap shit. Your intelligence was far more advanced than this shit. Get to the cancer and a few other things from Poland. No, your shit came from the big shit, the Russian mir. Go back up there. And remember, your mother and your father come from pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. You need to go for geography for that one. Pucius and North, they're directorates of humanitarian aid services. Lark Winters and Natalie Direct from the Supreme Court are defending them. For their retirements, famous retirements, in your cheap-ass asses of Fresno. The most famous fucking town in the entire world. For what it is. With its girlfriends. Tits and ass and all. Of course, that shit ain't gonna reopen nothing on the ghost lines of mine. No, not after smashing head. And you're gonna scare Disneyland? I'll tell you right now what you're gonna scare in Disneyland. After 80 countries and 20 states on microllies and electrollies that many motherfucking times, and I'm 50 years old. But I couldn't give a shit what I tell you to your face. You're assholes. And your girlfriends are bigger assholes because they can't even control their jealousy for somebody who's not even that girl. I can make faces, I can pull my teeth out, I can do anything, I can grow a mustache, I can breathe anything not to make you fucking jealous. Anything to shut your fucking ugly faces. And then you're going to speak to me about unusual. No, it's unusual on the coastline road. I have no idea what the ship is. I idea we're going to empty. No, I have a place in Yale. Yeah, that's the mathematics. That's an insane. That isn't an insane. No. Good. I covered it. Well, bugs are protein, as Carmen Fazo would say. El Carbutli. Check out this description. Of course, this other Thompson. Don't take this credit. Tell me. As I was was saying, I have never met such assholes. You see, you think that America can just waste intelligence. Just like in Poland. The Zyko was Ukrainian. For fuck's sake, there's an Ukrainian war going on. There are 8 million fucking refugees in Poland alone. The Polish always had a bad history with the Ukrainians. But there's a big bad wolf out there called Russia. So they're taking them in. Campaign of Psycho. I'm tired of Psycho. You understand? And you see, and then you're going to speak about, no, I'm not fucking running anymore. But between Hell's Angels from Fresno, which is not my type, and then they killed him. The German police killed Grabsky, beat him up. The British tried to kill him. They didn't kill him, but they will. He already attempted suicide 25 times in front of the University of Greenwich. Mean times, stupid times, my schools, my science. Empty around the world, connected us worldwide to globals. Of course they want to help the parents. You fucking retarded piece of cheap shit. You wanted American. This is American. Welcome to America, China. Welcome to America, Russia. Welcome to America, German aerospace. Welcome to America, Woolwich, Martin Snowden with sciences and La Sapienza sciences empty. Welcome to Yale, Princeton, and Harvard empty fucking buildings. So your shit can feel good about itself from my side sciences. And that's not the father and the mother either. You can see it coming from China on the coastlines. The father and the mother, born in Panic Country on the capital city, Pieszyce North, for instance. Novosterk, Pieszyce, Russia. D1s, also DCY, you say, no respect for work. You wonder why Natalie Direct in elementary primary schools was defending the barons. Ask her in Brussels or Langley, DC, Lara Quintus in the Supreme Court. Why are they defending them? Do they have to answer your fucking ass? Their jobs? The intel over there? The intel in Langley? I don't trust any of you. I had my head smashed in on the coastlines. They're empty buildings because of that. Do you know what they sent to Fresno? You're inventing shit. The hang benches of Lara Quintus and Ira and Amy Quintus, bully. Do you know how many times they sent from London and Rome and their countries and the East Coast? And you speak to me, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. I don't like the J-Lo concept of the girl and the loss of that. You don't like anything. You know why? Because you had everything easy in America. Easy. You sat on your fat ass and you thought that cash was going to protect you. You went to undermen like Jews who have a fucking history of 8,000 years of being treated like sheets tribes. Non-existent politically. That eventually, I'm sorry to say this to you, I've had enough. You sent psychos from Israel towards me here in San Francisco, which have nothing to do with the original girl. Nothing. You're doing this for fun. You're doing a kill for fun of Disneyland, who was brought back on purpose to show what the fuck was lost on the coastlines. And that's not even mentioning the parents of Fresno. I'm the trained poodle in the house. Makes you feel good inside, doesn't it? Or your college degrees that you paid $100,000 to go to college, while my education was 100% free, high school included with the president's kids. Why? President's kids don't go to Switzerland or to Rome, to schools. Then why the girl went for free to school with them? She's a fucking retard. She's Disneyland. You can play around with Disneyland. They're always smashed their head on the coastlines, and those buildings are empty because of her. In Princeton, Harvard, and Yale in California. The cheap sheet of Poland is in New York. It's cancer. But that's all news on the news, peaches. Send the psychos in. That's what you did to Delph. From Holland. Me. That's my storyline in yours. Because they're fucking suing you with the fucking Roman tribunal for your psych shit in Fresno and the stalkers you sent here. And then you're saying to me it's a collective. Yeah. You're now having fun with federal prisoners against Disneyland while your fucking whore asses can't reopen that shit on the coastlines. The sanction. It's not a question that Elon Musk moved to Texas. It's a question of fucked up people. You're fucked up people. It's not even your government anymore. Your government already lost all that shit in those buildings. They're saying, stay the fuck out. And for the barons. And the Scott landfill. You're sitting there at the Knox. I had the little shelter with your psychos, federal prisoners that were fucking stalking me for years on my electric crawlies. Even the bros. Get whacked, the bros. Here? Well, we're in California. This is what you got. So listen to me, guys. Instead of doing co celeb with the Opus Dei and the Vatican and the Muslims and the Russians and Brits and Mount Snows and German airspace just for me, let's do it this way, ship to ya. Let's just stay the fuck out of the U.S. They can keep it void. That can void prophecy that you had with 221 down, a particular number that was so beautiful, and then had its head smashed in on the walls. Then we bring back Disneyland for a blimp in time, just like this. Boom, boom. Then we give them that feeling that they are the best on sciences and tech and all this shit in the US, that they're the best. Give them that mania. And those guys with the all the cash who have cancer and who knows what up with their ass. And that's it. Then we bring out Disneyland to make sure that they get the message that that shit's empty. And oh, by the way, the parents are on retirement in Fresno. The ones of us from TCY USA, stay the fuck out. That's it. Stop sending psychos. Because believe me, between the Hague of the Void, the Bureau de Veritas, and the Roman Tribunal, for your psychos ready and psych ward, if you kill the baby, it's going to be not only a hate crime, but it will have a second Hague. It will have a same price tag at this stage. If you have empty buildings in Princeton, Harvard, and Yale, for the July 2021 intelligence that you lost smashed on the head, and you knew that there was a ship to yacht coming from China around the world before the retirements of the parents in Fresno, and you knew that girl was elsewhere on the ghost lines, then you in the US are worth what you are minus zero. You can say it to me. You can say it to Disneyland. You dead, bitch. I'll kill you, bitch. I'll kill you. Come here, bitch. Come here, bitch. I'll kill you, bitch. This is what you are. Many of you are Jewish. Why? Why are you Jewish, these psychos? In Fresno and Frisco. Why? Or Hells Angels. The blacks are just looking like this, like, look at the Hells Angels approaching that girl with Heine. You were the ones that sent stalkers. Heine went to New Hampshire, New York, Texas, London. He even went to Poland in the hopes. That idiot didn't realize that he had already been waterboarded in Santa Rosa for being Hells Angels from Fresno. You're not the triads. Okay, you're not the Hmong and the Viet Cong CIA, who don't have a high school education, according to Radio Globo, Bruno and Daniela Bonvenuti, children in high school, children of Radio Globo in Italy. You're none of these people. You're just haters. And they're saying that. They're saying that all over the world in 80 countries and 20 states. What the fuck did you lose on the fucking coastlines? We brought that girl back just for that. It was historic and you're denying it. That girl is not herself. She already had her head smashed in on the coastlines. And don't speak about pink and blues because you don't even know how the fuck that happened to that girl. You're retards. Literally, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and kill Disneyland. It means that there's a reason for everything. If somebody does something historic to the one and they show it and you're still fucking denying it, you're not Iran. You're Israel. And stop calling me Bin Laden. Even Bin Laden was better than fucking Mossad. Shut up! I can't take it anymore. I can't take the level of stupidity and hate. Either it's a level of stupidity, like you're mentally retarded, like for real, you're like mentally retarded, or you're just assholes. And quite frankly, I think this is the latter. US. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to say to me, oh, we don't give a shit for that intel. Then keep the void. You're keeping the proverbial Vatican void of 221 share. The social security number of Holland from the Antichrist of Delft. The wormhole to the worm project of the UN. With the Italians, with the Brits, with the others. If the Germans tag along, even the Brits and the Italians said don't involve the Germans in the science. It's not theirs. That shit's already void. It can get voider. Why? Because if you killed the intel on the ghost lines with a smashing head, let's say that guy was the leader of that shit. Let's say they worked together. Let's say they fell together. Let's say they have platinum hairs together in 80 countries and 20 states. And that's old news on the news, the mermaid. Why would they have continued? Why would they have said, that's her building, and that's her building. But I also did that. And by the way, I'm a sponsor of that building. So if you do all of that, then I can even give you that. They're my buildings. So the space sciences is what's empty. It's not a microchip. You sit in your fucking factories coming up with new mathematics. That big shit, the new shit, that was me, you fucking bitch. You smashed my head in on the coastlines. Or should I call you a chibo? That's what this girl was famous for in Western Europe. That's why German airspace has the white hairs. That's why German airspace speaks about Jamila as their children. The hero that came back after having had her head smashed in on the coastlines that they erased in the US. But the rest of the world, between the UN and Italy and Germany and England and Russia and Saudi Arabia, brought her back to life. The Phoenix, the Disneyland. The only thing she has in common with her original self is her eyebrows. She had a different nose, she had big eyes, she had a long face. She's different. Different nails. This is what they showed, but if you're going to be playing with the baby with psychopaths, there's no point. So even that leftover is a waste of time, but you're doing it for fun. And the only people who do this for fun are sadists. Junior, Schadenfreude Jr. So that, yeah, Iraqi Junior. This is, you have come here, so much for the, several miles in high school, middle school and high school. Still in elementary, but high school. No. So you are, for real, you have no idea how bad you are. They bring back people with no hair. When I was in Fresno, my hair used to fall out. I used to pull my hair out in Fresno from stress on the retirements of the parents. Because I'm a replacement child. After you smash my head in on the coastlines. You feel, America. That shit left. That ship on the yacht later. And then you will make a fucking her out of her, make a prostitute out of everything. US, you don't understand. Hague Bureau de Veritas and Roman Tribunal. Still don't give a shit. And who the fuck's paying? The US government. Okay. For your cheap assholes. I can't believe the shit. And they speak about the Holy Grail. That's not the Holy Grail. You're fucking retards. And then, I'm sorry. And then, that's not even mentioning the parents of Fresno. Or retirement. So when I said that there are mountains beyond in DC of the library, the Iranian hostage library, that's what it is. But your country is not run by Iran. It's run by Israel. And it's run by the US. Right? In other words, if you lost all that intel, and they called it the Holy Grail, in Harvard and other, other universities, for July 2020 book, you will not get it back. This is industry. This is the industry. This is the new shit. Cancer was pink in New York and Poland. And in the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods in Egypt. Yes. I'm really sorry. You're starting to see what this is. To have that kind of intel, you need to have sponsor. If you have sponsor like Saudi Arabia and Russia, it's sponsor. If that girl was the leader, if that girl had her head smashed in on the coastlines, and you're still sitting there and jumping on my fucking bones on the coastlines, and I'm supposed to be a replacement child with falling out hairs that are white at the age of 5, in the UN basements, with professors and corporations looking at the reject. Replacement child? You know there's blues behind the pig. I'm sure you would have figured that out by now. How that happened, I don't know. How that empty 5 beautiful buildings, I don't know. Pity, they reopened the banks. In other words, you were talking to an intelligence that you didn't have, had later on, and then later smashed on the coastlines. And that's not even mentioning the parents of Fresno. That's why they wanted me erased. That's why they wanted the number Delph 221 erased. And why? The Italians, the Germans, the Brits, Martin Sondheim has, the Warsaw International, obviously, like the brother of the mother. The cousin of the father decides in Cairo, he said, go to Saudi Mir, Saudi Arabian Mir. Why? Polish, the brother of the mother, sciences, 96 years old, go to Russian Mir. You know exactly what this is for the sciences. But that's old news on the news. Why would I even have pretenses about it? But why would you send psychos against me when you knew that that girl had to connect the dots worldwide to globals? Why would you call me a terrorist? When you are the terrorist in America to that girl who lost her life and all that intelligence, the proverbial share of the number, social security number 221, got to the shits with a head smashed in, shipped to yacht. You're terrorists. And between the Knox and Dolores in San Francisco with the federal prisoners from LA who were born in Fresno here, psychos, you don't understand what psychological torture is. You think a girl like me who's not psycho, I won't become psycho and I won't get psychosis, but it will mimic it for a time, then it will pass. That's what they're saying in the Roman tribunal. You're doing things on purpose for fun. Now it's not a question of intel, is it? Not for me. Now it's a question of fun. Now it's your frat boys and others. I hate that bitch. And you showed it. You showed it on my little crawlies. Now for the first 4 years, it didn't matter on my trekkings. 3 months on the East Coast or New York or London or Russia. 5 times it didn't matter on the little crawlies. Why? Because there were others. But after 4 years and a half in the Mediterranean coming back, and now it's 10 years out of Fresno on my little crawlies, little crawlies, of Asswipe, you thought that crab to crabby. You thought Crab was the original. Crab already had her head smashed in. I was already another girl. Except I was very strong for the parents. So this is what you are. So while you're sitting there going, I want this husband, I want to manipulate this, I want this, I want that, I want to put that little microchip here and there, I want la, and my lemons, and look at my boyfriends. And why are you doing that? Or girlfriends, whichever. Why are you doing that? That shit's lost on the ghost lines. You put in Disneyland, you laugh at Disneyland, and that's not even mentioning the parents. And then you have the verbal vitriol for the parents. You don't even know that there's blues out there. And you think you're going to go near that shit? No! You even go near the eggs. Pterodactyl eggs. Why? Because you smashed that girl head in on the ghost lines. It's that simple. And those buildings, yours, in DC, Massachusetts, Harvard, Princeton, and Yale, those are my buildings. In DC, they're in Issa. Ask them, July 2221. Ask the CIA. Ask Massachusetts. Ask New England about those buildings that are empty. And academia. Don't ask New York. That's pink cancer. Stupid horse. This old news on the news and nails. That's why you hate the replacement child. Because the replacement child is not her, is she? The replacement child is a genetic graft. Crab to crabby. After you smash my head in original on the bus lines. Now you want to hurt this version, this format, this replacement child 221. You go right ahead. What was you famous for? What the fuck you famous for? And that's not, your holy grail. That's not even mentioning the parents of Fresno on retirements. And many flyings beyond that library. On the mountains. That's an hydrogeographic survey, I know. Those are mountains. Way past the library. Other locations in DC. The hills. The runnings. And then on the third foot of the, it's still on the hill behind, goes down the hill a bit, then there's some steps, and then behind the library there's a leg, it stops on the ground. On the mother for the third foot, there's a little alley here, to the left, straight and down. Why? Because they get it from Fresno to Poland, Poland to Russia with a fake bitch, really, that they came from Fresno. So they said, they lied in Fresno. Everything of Fresno is a lie. That's why there's now the direction in our winters. Why your psych ward in Fresno has been trying to make me crazy. So they pull me out. Immediately. They pull me out of Fresno. UCLA, New York, Italy, all the hospitals think that you are crazy in the US. Not me. They say I'm a victim. A Disneyland victim. Again. After smashing my head in on the ghost lines. And that's getting emptier. It's getting emptier because it wasn't yours. You had it. And then eventually, you killed a baby who was good at science. With all that intel, ship to yacht. You don't get away with poppy fields on the ghost lines. On purpose. And then come back from colleges and say, I can reopen that shit. I got that shit in Harvard. I can reopen the new shit. I got a microchip. A microchip can reopen that shit. Microchip. You read that. As for the cheaper shit, like Polish intel, which had the cancer and the biomass and stuff like that, and New York, that's empty. But if the brother says to me, this is Chibo's ass, he's saying this is Chibo's ass. It came from Russia. It came from Saudi Arabian Mir. We helped you, yes. I'm the brother of your mom. I was the head of sciences in Warsaw in 96. But you come from Russia. Mir. Just like with Egypt, the cousin of the father, with the sciences, the head of sciences, saying, sorry, you came from Saudi Arabian Mir. So if you want to stick in, Coptics over there and stuff, I am not going to go out. I cannot fight psychos. I cannot fight people with holes in their head who can't even have sex. Heine, for instance, had a hernia. Had a hernia on his balls. He has sex, but it's not what you think. I have nothing against him, you see. But for me, federal prisoners, people who already have been waterboarded in Santa Rosa, have nothing to do with me. Even better, they should protect themselves. Unless they have something to do with Fresno, where they're born. Maybe they're afraid of Tom and Jerry Diet House because they were in federal prison in LA. So they're afraid of the county jail locally of Tom and Jerry Diet House. They're all the federal prisoners. And Tom and Jerry Diet House is weird. And his buddies, girlfriends, friends, wingmen, and the whole shit. In other words, the fame of Fresno's intelligence. For the barons or retirements and the dead baby coming out. And because this looks rosy through me, you don't realize what you lost on the coastlines. You don't realize what a ship is and what those corporations were. Which would explain why Elon Musk moved to Texas. So you can go back to colleges and do your PhDs and try and reopen that shit. The bust. The best! The best! I see, eh? So that's why they called it, they're getting it, the Holy Grail. So that's why they brought back Disneyland, but it don't mean you have to shoot up Disney. You did. She bears on, kill your bitch. You did. And all nice, all the rest of the shit. The problem is, if I'm on my literal crawlies, and I don't even have money, and I have just enough money to travel because the people are giving it to me abroad, and I'm doing the trekkings 4 times abroad, I have to immediately. When I come back, after spending another 4 years and a half abroad, you still have the psychos from Fresno, in Frisco. And you brought them here. It's not that you didn't. You brought them here on purpose to hurt the girl. And that boy who followed me, at the beginning, they just removed him. And the psycho, after 4 years of trackings, the Ukrainian guy, I don't want to say what they did to that guy. Because it wasn't the best case scenario. But what they are showing in intel is that it is what it is. But now, it is. That shit's empty. They didn't show it because you're whores and bitches, male and female. And PhDs didn't reopen them, these things of hers. And that's not mentioning the barons and Fresno retirements. And if they did make blues out of that girl in another continent, I wouldn't be surprised if Jamila really was that from Russia and Saudi Arabia. I am not going to insult my friends who helped me. The Brits, the Italians, the Germans, where I was born and raised. Those men. Because to me, after all the flyings and runnings and then a girl having her head smashed in on the coastlines and coming back like this, for me, you're just bitches. You're plain, simple fucking American bitches who will never reopen Jamila's buildings. And the pink ass of cancer, we don't even look at that. That's cheap shit. Like you. That's old news on the news, the nails. That's the Holy Grail. You killed that on the coastlines, you're paying for it with the poppy fields. That's not the parents of Fresno either, on retirements. The panic camps beyond the capital cities are the parents. Give you an example. Pieszyce-Norylsk. Panic champions at the age, camps. Panic champions at the age of 5. And sports and other things. Then they become directorates, D1s, OSRO, TCY USA, Humanitarian Relief Services. OSRO is mostly natural disaster relief. In all those countries, 160, 180 countries on helicopters, 140. Who the fuck are you in Fresno's intelligence? And you say it's weird that many times around the world. What are they going to say about the US? All that times they say, oh, well, I don't like the JLO concept of the sciences being lost. Good. Disneyland can tell you right now to fuck off. Unless you want to meet the blues. They call them eggs around the world. The nails. The Delft proverbial pink to blues. After you smash my head in on the ghost lines. Another fucking miracle brought to you by Delft. Doesn't take much to make pink. So, on the Grollies, the little Grollies, they actually thought that I was the original, but I wasn't. So this is what you are, and that's what you lost to the ghost lines. You will not reopen it. And if they're making it emptier, then you would have to bring one of your geniuses in San Francisco or elsewhere to reopen it, which I think you won't be able to. That's the old news on the news. That's why you hate me. Till today. I know, because you send psychos. Wow, the Holy Grail. That's not the parents of Fresno either, on their retirements in famous Fresno. The work was elsewhere for me and for them. They're on retirements in Fresno. And when you get that, you'll understand. I used to work when I was alive, except I used to do sciences. I was not a directorate. I wasn't a D1 commander, and I wasn't, defended. And plus, if you can see that shit coming from China on the ghost lines, can't you please put one and bundle together? Yes. So many times, goodness. And, okay. And what about, and what about the multitasking for the Baron? Yo, Camilla, but you smashed that girl's head and all the ghost lines. That don't exist technically. I don't give a shit if they make negatives out of that code. Genetics, that's a different human being altogether. That's not the original. So much for ship to yacht. That's it. No. You see, that's why they're angry. You know why they really are angry? They're angry because they know who the fuck Fresno's intel is for the Barons. You could have easily gotten them. And also the ghost lines, this thing of wasting intel like that, like you can just waste all that ship to yacht. Cool, I understand if it was one individual or something. Oh shit! So, have you ever seen a ship there? I'm leaving. Okay. And that's it. And then you start speaking about it around the world and make a big fuss about it, the whole shit. And you're sitting there still denying it. Downstairs, Randy, who thinks that he's some great guy. I don't know if he sells angels. I don't know if he's Jewish. I don't know what he is. He looks like somebody from Fresno, in my opinion. I was speaking to him about this shit. He's like, yeah, but if you love one of those psychos, I said, darling, do I look like somebody who loves somebody? Like George O'Connor wasn't my husband. Maybe I loved Basler or Ryan Davis, which I didn't have sex with. But then they tried to get me used to abuse when I was a child with the platinum hairs. After they already had smashed my head in on the ghost lines, all the flies, the runnings, I didn't have time for anything. I'm Disneyland version of Intel. I'm a replacement child. That shit's empty because I'm dead. The whole fucking world knows that in 80 countries. Unless you want to stick shit-ass US, then it's 81 countries. Because that's empty in your countries. You're like 5-year-old children. Have you seen 5-year-old children? Listen, I'm not kidding. Like 5-year-old children. You go up to them and say, hey, you see that girl right there? Look what happened to that girl. She had her head smashed in on the ghost lines. You see those buildings? They're all empty because you died. But don't speak about it. Why? You'll offend the Americans. They're bitches and assholes. Exactly. This time I'm telling you to your face! Retards! And you have the Squawk Anthem. You will not reopen those buildings in La Sapienza, or Germany, or England. That shit's empty in the country of the United States of minus Ame, minus Rica. Big time. That's your proverbial prophecy. That's what you hated in the original Jamila from Russian Saudi Arabia and Western Europe. And you still hate me. Disneyland. And I don't even look like her. I only have the eyebrows of that girl. And that's not mentioning the father and the mother. And their jobs as D1s. Austro TCY USAID. It's not mentioning the pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. It's not mentioning anything. And it's not mentioning the hanging benches of Laura Puentes and Ali Direct defending them. That many flyings, beyonds, aboves, and my Crawleys, little Crawleys, out of, well, I was on the coastline still, out of Fresno for the Barons. This is who you are. You didn't allow even a replacement Disney girl with a social security number asswipe 221 Delft, literally Delft from Holland, the lowlands, to speak. You sent your psychos. Later on the Crawleys, literal Crawleys, sorry, not on the Crawleys, on the literal Crawleys, towards the end. And it's like, the Roman tribunal is not a joke. The Roman tribunal is the Italian Bundestag. That's for your extras. That's not even the Hague on the coastlines. Or the Bureau de Veritas of Tirkmen. So now you know why in the rest of the world this is called celebre. And you are shit people. For them. That's why 221 became famous. That's old news on the news, the nails. Because you will not reopen my buildings after you smashed the original girls' head in on the coastlines. You're terrorists. And you're terrorizing the baby. And that's not even mentioning Fresno for the Barons on her Crawleys and little Crawleys. The pains for the Barons. But the hanging benches of Lara Quitters and Ali Direct, defending them both. Against your fucking assholes. Cheap assholes. Male and female. In Fresno's intelligence. Because they have their own. That many nights. And that's why there's the Scotland film. And keep your PhDs on the coastlines in Massachusetts. Princeton, Harvard, and Yale, July 20th, 21st century, with the emptying buildings of space tech shipped to yacht, with the bottom has and the falls around the world, and in the CIA, up your ass. Because that's void. And so, when Dirk-Jan van Dam said to me, the leader had her head smashed in on the coastlines, he meant me. And I'm the replacement. Goodbye, US. Scotland film. That's the history. Goodbye.